So, Sam, capacity building is essential in Africa development. Okay. Yeah. And for me, it starts by improving literacy. Okay. And igniting the flames of curiosity in our young population. Okay. So how can we do this consistently? Okay. In formal education, and what are the real issues that can derail it?
Okay, it's a big question, big question. Literacy and building capacity.
Yes,
literacy is such a it's a difficult one, literacy, because it covers so much. When we talk about literacy, are we talking about reading?
Yeah, reading and writing. That's the basics.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it is. Reading is the basics of learning, and it always has been. And the ability to read changes people's
everything.
Ability to understand, comprehend, and therefore be able to use whatever they've learned in new capacities. That's what learning is all about.
Yeah.
If we're going to ignite the flames, you mentioned that in particular, of curiosity in young people, I think we've got to create an environment where leading is something which they want to do. That's first and foremost, right? We live in a different world. The kids are not interested in reading as much as they were, because they've got so many avenues by which they can learn, and especially video and audio, which they're much more interested in. Right? Let's face it. I mean, your everyday kid, in no matter which country it's in, whether you're in Africa or whether you're in outside of Africa, you give a kid a book and an iPad, he'll pick the iPad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So first and foremost, we've got to create an environment for reading, but we've got to do it within the context of the people that we are trying to help. So put the book on the iPad. I mean, I'm not being facetious here. I'm not trying to be smart, Alec. I mean it quite sincerely. Let's step into the world in which they are, and let's construct the environment within that world instead of trying to drag them into ours. Ours is gone. Ours is gone. It's not the same.
Yeah.
Right? This is number one. Number two, let kids choose their topics. If you're going to get kids interested in reading, then we have to be prepared to ensure that whatever they're reading is something interesting to them. Right? So let them choose the topics of the things that they want to read. And let's try to connect whatever they're reading to real life so they can see the relevance of it.
Okay.
I'm coming from an IB school background, and this is, I'm not sure if how much your listeners know about the IB, the International Baccalaureate.
No, tell us.
It's a system. It's a learning methodology. It's a practice. You get lots of information about it online. There are thousands of schools all around the world that adopt it, and one of the tenets, if you like, of the IB is to create agency within the environment, the learning environment. This is for teachers as well as for students. Agency meaning giving you a voice, giving you the ability to be able to decide how you want to learn, and not necessarily what you want to learn, because we have standards, right? So you've got to learn something in grade 6, and we've got to cover content. But how you learn that is important, because that's the curiosity part you're talking about.
Yeah.
Right. So if I love technology, or I've got an interest in football, or if I've got passions and hobbies, and you want me to learn how to research and investigate, if you allow me to research and investigate within the confounds of what my passion is, I'm more likely to be curious about it and to do it. Yeah, so this is kind of where I'm coming from, and then there's the connection. The other big IB tenet is the connection to real life. That learning shouldn't be a theory. Learning should be about practice. It should be about reality. So if we're going to learn to investigate something, let's investigate something real. Let's see the difference between how we used to do something in the past, maybe, and how we do it now. If we're reading about how certain things were done in the past, and then we're just going to sit at a paper and write about what people used to do, what's the benefit? But if we were to read about what people did in the past, and then we were to interview our grandparents, great-grandparents, if we're lucky enough to still have them around, and do a comparison there, get their points of view, and then interview each other about how we do the same thing now, we could then write an essay, which is connected.
Perfect.
Yeah. There you go, to real life and has purpose. Something that we can take on and say, okay, well, this is going to help us in understanding changing human behavior, in understanding
evolution.
how change,
evolution
how
of education, of practice. Yeah,
absolutely. And then take it one step further. What should we do in the future? Based on what we've now learned, how can we help and advocate for those who are coming next? So now you've taken reading and literacy and you've put it in a real life context. And I think this will spark curiosity within people because it's connected to them rather than just being a theoretical and
endeavor.
It's boring. In other words, we've got to how many really if you've got if your listeners are listening and they've got kids at home, right? You don't have to be an educator to understand that the word boring is on the lips of every kid. It only takes 5 minutes and your kid is looking at you. What's wrong?
I hear it every time I talk to my 15-year-old daughter. It's boring. It's boring.
It's boring. Their attention span is short. And I think that actually my own daughter took me up on that phrase not long ago. She said, Dad, it's not that our attention span is small. It's that the ability for people to interest us is small.
Yeah.
I took that on board. So again, we need to make the change. They are used to things happening quickly, fast. They're used to information coming to them at a rate of speed. We need to make sure that we adapt the way in which we teach so that they can learn at that rate instead of trying to drag them into our world. It's not going to work. You mentioned reading, discussing plots and ethics and relationships when we read. It's not enough. Go read this book, come back and answer these 10 questions. What did Tom do when he entered the house? Who cares? Who's Tom and which house? Who cares, right? But when Tom entered the house, he did this. What does that mean to you? How do you feel about that? What would you have done in his place? The discussions we have around reading make reading more exciting because now you're not just reading to read the content and to answer questions on the content, but you're reading to have some connection to you as a person, to your society, to the relationships you're used to seeing. And this, I think, is the difference between reading for capacity and reading for change. Let's make it reading for change, and then the capacity will come. This is
See,
what I think.
Sam. All you have just talked about.
You just call me Tom.
Yes.
You see, it's working. I'm a teacher. You see, now I've got Tom in your head.
Yes.
Right. I haven't lost it yet.
Yeah, no, you haven't lost me. So, see, all the things you just talked about are the kind of things my father did with me when I was young. You see, today, I love to read. I love to read.
Excellent.
Okay. And that comes from the things I did as a 10-year-old person.
Right.
Okay. See, when I was a teenager, I used to go out playing, but I tell my daughters, I'm out playing with my friends, and I just remember something exciting. What is it? I remember, a book I'm reading at home. I run from the playground back home just to pick up from where I left.
Right.
You see, I wish I could excite my daughters to dig into the world of books.
Right.
I will take your advice. I will try to implement it.
No, good. Good. And your daughters are probably much more interested in video than they are in books.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but have the conversation around the video. You can still use the same strategies. A series that they're watching will have characters, plot, it will have ethics, it will have relationships.
My A-level daughter just asked me to buy these books.
Okay.
They
look expensive.
I bought them. I've sent the picture to her.
Right.
That I bought the books you want. She hasn't said anything. because most likely she's not looking forward to it.
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard building that curiosity within kids. I think we got to start young, number one.
Yeah.
We've got to start young, and we've got to have these conversations that I was talking about around reading. And, you know, when they are older, we can still do it. If they are more interested in video, let's find video which is connected to books, because, you know, for example, Game of Thrones, right? Huge series, widely popular around the world. Everybody loved it. Nowhere near as good as the book. I read all the books. I've still got them upstairs. All the books. And every time I come across a young person talking about Game of Thrones, I say, you know, go check out the book. I try to throw the book at them. And what I do is I show them how certain scenes in the book, in the series that they saw, were really described, and the detail that they missed in the series. And, you know, it hasn't worked for everyone, but for those who I did manage to convince to pick the book up, they haven't put it down. You know, and I think, you know, if we can make that connection, then, you know, we'll be getting closer.
My daughter says she wants to be an actor. So I try to entice her by introducing her to the likes of Wole Soyinka, you know. And I try to talk about some of those books I've read and what the plots are.
Right.
I'm struggling.
Yeah. You know, the question is, you know, if she wants to be an actor, you know, what does she need to read? And you know, if the answer is, well, she can get most of her training from sort of face-to-face or videos, or then by all means let her do that. We can't force kids to read.
No.
We can't. But, you know, definitely I think there will be benefits to you know, to her reading books about people that she aspires to be like. Autobiographies, for example. That's one way. You know, and again, what we're doing, we're connecting it to their passions. So here's an autobiography by a famous actor. I thought you might like it. You know, there's a brilliant thing that happened to him, which is very similar to you on page 94. Good luck. Now, you never know. She might go to page 94, and next thing you know, she's read the whole book, you know. So we need to try and make these connections. Very good. Thank you for that.